Welcome back into the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show. I'm Haley Stasiak with Jordan Ham. It is time to break down the Week 3 action. Before we get into our breakdown, we do want to mention Mountain Point at Chandler this week is a game to watch. We're not going to get too in-depth in that, but definitely keep an eye out for that matchup. Let's start out with Higley at Saguaro.
Yeah, so this is probably one of the biggest games in 4A probably all year in this regular season. Higley has a very talented team. They're returning a lot. Drayson Hall, the Gatorade Player of the Year, one of the best stat fillers in this state. He returns. They returned 4 of the 5 offensive linemen that started on this team. James Maggio is another guy that gets paired in the backfield who's a very versatile playmaker for them. And then Spencer Brash, he's a junior quarterback. Coach Zuby told me coming into the season, if he didn't win the quarterback battle, he would be the team's safety. So he's a pretty athletic guy. And then another guy I really like in the secondary, Mekhi Hubbard. I saw him in the offseason, a very lanky defensive back, can make some plays. I think overall, in terms of 4A, with the way South Point is right now, with the way Higley is right now, the gap's closing on Saguaro. They've had a stranglehold on this entire division. But I wouldn't hit the panic button quite yet with Saguaro. They're, I still think the standard when it comes to 4A, and Haley, I know you have some thoughts on that as well.
I know, Saguaro's coming off 2 back-to-back losses, 2 out-of-state teams. And Coach Mons, when we spoke with him, the point of scheduling those games is to challenge these guys. And that's exactly what it did. They went up to Nevada and Utah came down here and they challenged them. So, like you said, no need to hit the panic button yet. I don't think. It was a learning experience, and it's good to get that experience, and sometimes it's good to get those losses to kind of regroup. Coach
Mons did an interview with Chili over at Arizona Varsity after this most recent game against Utah, and he said, we could have played our 4A schedule. We could have tricked ourselves into, keeping the streak alive and saying that was the best we could do. But I think Jason Mons is a very competitive person, and I think it does bug him when people say, yeah, well, it's only 4A. What they've accomplished over the past 4 years and even before that is incredibly impressive, and the guys they've been able to produce and that sort of thing. And they did something similar in 2015. They started the year 1-2. They lost to Centennial. That was back when they were, it was Division 3. It wasn't the A system, but they were Division 3. They lost to the Division 1 state champion Centennial early in the year, and then they lost to a very good Pinnacle team as well. And I think people sort of wrote them off a little bit, and then they rattled off 26 straight wins. So I think that this is a blip on the radar, like you said. They love to bring in the top talent from out of state. We went in depth on him on the amount of time he takes scheduling these teams, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and they have to bring in others. But I think this is going to be a very good game, a ton of talent on the field, and I'm excited. I think, based on the seedings, how this could work out. We could see this come November as well. Now let's shift over to Brophy and Highland.
Yeah, this is the game I'm heading out to. Highland being 3-0 is somewhat of a surprise. You can't say it's a complete surprise, but it is somewhat of a surprise. They've got 3 guys with over 150 rushing yards.
Yeah, they're a really good running team. It kind of brings you back to the Josh Chadwick days from a couple of years ago. He was a kind of a big-bodied running back, but it seems like they have 3 guys who are really making plays.
Yeah, and 2 of those guys are juniors, and Connor Collimore and Dayton Huffman, and then senior Jacob Wood has over 190 rushing yards, and also Collimore and Wood lead the team in tackles, 2 of 3 that lead the team in tackles. So Brophy being 1-2, kind of trying to right the ship again with this game, but Highland's not going to make it easy.
Yeah, Highland having a great start to the year. Brophy, I feel like over the past couple of years has been a little bit of a slow starter. It's one of those teams that may start the year 1-3, 2-4, that sort of thing. But when it comes to around November, they're an 8 or 9 seed, or right in there, and nobody wants to play them. So I think that this might be fitting that narrative a little bit. But yeah, it should be a great game. I think you're going to be seeing a pretty close matchup there.
Hope so.
Mountain View and Pinnacle.
This game last year, if we're looking back at numbers and different stats from last year. Last year, after Pinnacle lost to Chandler, they lost 3 straight. That next one was to Mountain View. And this Mountain View team this year is pretty good and could probably give Pinnacle another run for their money this season. So it's just interesting to see that. And will be interesting to see how the team responds to it this season.
Yeah, on Mountain View side, Jacoby Dinwiddie, he's a big-bodied receiver. He's going to be a junior as a sophomore, had 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. A really tough matchup for them. I know that the Pinnacle defense had to go up against Chandler's offense as well last week, excuse me. So it's a tough gauntlet for them. When we talked to Coach Zupke on AZ Audibles last week, he mentioned that they have a lot of young veterans, a lot of freshmen and sophomores who logged a lot of time on the field the past 2 years, and now they're juniors, feel like their feet are more under them. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond. I don't think they'll have a similar stretch like that. I think they're too talented and now too experienced. But I feel like a lot of these teams sometimes have to take some licks as young guys and have a rough stretch for them to take that next step. So that's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on over the next few weeks with this Pinnacle team.
Our next matchup we've got is Blue Ridge at Northwest Christian. Eric is going to be out at this game, and we spoke with head coach David Innes this past week, and he told us just the talent that's in this 3A division is unbelievable. You've got all these different teams that are contending in this division, and Northwest Christian's always a team that seems to come out and be pretty solid.
Yeah, 4 straight years with double-digit wins. They are usually in at least that semifinal round, able to make it deeper. But yeah, I was taking a look at 3A. You have Northwest Christian. You have the defending champion American Leadership Academy. I was able to see them on Friday against a very good Sabino team also. Castile, Push Ridge, Yuma Catholic, Florence. I don't know. I think this was off camera when we were talking to Coach Innes, but he just said, he's like, there's 7 or 8 teams that you could, if you said they're going to win the state championship, he would respond with, well, that makes sense. So this is it'll be interesting to see how they maneuver those tough schedules and the playoff bracket when it comes out come November.
Lastly, we've got Liberty at Sunrise Mountain. Both of these teams are really good offensively. What do you see kind of with this game that's going to be the key?
Well, the interesting thing that jumped out to me was with Sunrise Mountain. Keegan Freed, he's pretty much almost a mirror image of Chase Cord, literally, because Chase Cord was a very decorated quarterback for Sunrise Mountain last year, is off at Boise State, but in terms of their size, their number, they both wear number 10. Keegan Freed can run the ball like Chase Cord could. And he's a lefty, so it's a literal mirror. So it's interesting to see just the quarterback play that Sunrise Mountain has been able to have. But this Liberty team has really built a very good foundation over recent years, building themselves up. And it seems like if you're going to beat them, you're going to be hurting on Sunday morning. They're a very physical team, and they have a ton of fight in them.
Before we send things out here on the Friday Night 360 AZ preview show, a member of the Perry football team had a house fire over the weekend, and the family is in need of clothes, hygiene items, and meals. So if you could and are willing to help out, please email becky.james@phsfb.com, and we'll have more information on that with the replay of the episode.
Yeah, and Ralph Amsden from Arizona Varsity tweeted the original link out. I retweeted it, so it's out there on Twitter. But yeah, if there's anything you can do to help out, obviously another member of the community, please do so. And we'll be sure to have this in the post as well. That'll do it for our Week 3 preview show. She's Haley Stasiak. I'm Jordan Ham. Thanks so much for tuning in.